Hello, my name is Chinedu, and I'm a second-year dental student at the University of Utah School of Dentistry in Salt Lake City, Utah. I am a graduate from Southern Utah University, where I graduated with a degree in chemistry in 2021. I also spent some time playing football during my time in undergrad, and that really helped shape me as a person. I was able to spend a lot of time with people, working on a team, having a pretty strict schedule, and I was also able to serve the people around me as I was a captain on that team as well. That really helped shape me and prepared my journey for dental school, because I've learned that I really continue to have to work hard to work with other people and to adhere to a strict schedule. But I also spent some time working with children with autism, and that was some of the most fun experiences that I had, working with that underserved community and really helping those kids become the most successful that they could become. And that's really helped shape me, and I'm really excited to share a little bit more about myself and why I chose dentistry with you all today. People are like, do you like working in people's mouths? Mouths are gross. But for me, it's the service aspect of it. An experience that I had when I was 8 years old, I was climbing up a slide in the rain. I know, not the smartest thing. And I slipped and I fell and I broke one of my central incisors. Through the tears, I was able to pick up that tooth. I called my mom and she took me to the dentist, and he was able to bond that tooth back together. And I was able to keep that tooth for another 10, 12 years of my life. Just that one experience with that dentist, I don't remember his name. I was young, but that always stuck with me, that the dentist was never a scary place for me. It was a place that I always enjoyed going to. I always loved just having that feeling of getting my teeth cleaned and keeping my teeth. So for me, dentistry has always been something I've been interested in. I really like working with my hands. I still think the sciences are really interesting, but that service aspect of being able to help people keep their smiles, help people be able to have functional dentition is something that's really important to me, and why I'm grateful to be here in dental school right now. I did it in a way I do not recommend for many people. I prepared for the DAT during the semester. I was in biochemistry 2, physical chemistry 2, physiology, and I was in another class that I can't remember, but I spent those times studying for the DAT as well. So I took the DAT in March of 2020, right before the whole world shut down. So I was lucky enough that I didn't have to wait until wait until later in the year to take my test. So I was able to take my test before applying, but it was extremely difficult. I would spend time, I would go to class and finish around 2 o'clock. After 2, I would oftentimes go to work from 3 to 6, and then I would study the rest of the night. I spent a lot of time. My wife would go hang out with friends, and they're like, "Where's Chinedu?" And I'd say, well, she would have to say he's studying for the DAT. And so I took really good notes in organic chemistry, biology. I got some books, but I used Crack DAT. I know a lot of people like DAT Destroyer, DAT Bootcamp, but Crack DAT worked for me, and I especially liked the fact that it mimicked the test almost exactly. So when I got in there, I felt very comfortable that I was able to be familiar with everything. But I would study in the morning before class. I'd go to class, I'd come home, and then I'd study for my classes that I was taking during undergrad, and then I would study for the DAT. Like I said, I don't recommend it. I would take a summer, especially the summer before you want to apply, and even take those 2-3 months to study and then take the DAT. Hopefully, your interview experience is very different than mine, because mine was over Zoom. But I applied for the University of Utah on June 16th, that's when our cycle opened, and I received an email saying that I had an interview on August 27th. I was then able to schedule my interview for September 2nd, so it was a very quick turnaround, and I'm really happy that Utah was able to do it quickly in that way. But for me, my interview day, it was one day, and we had 2 30-minute interviews with 2 faculty and myself. So it was a 2-on-1 interview where I was asked various questions about myself, how I saw myself doing in dental school, why I was here, why I wanted to be a dentist. And it was a really nice interview. It wasn't Of course, interviews are always stressful, but it wasn't a very hostile environment. It was a very friendly environment. I'm grateful that Utah does their interviews in such a way where you really do feel comfortable. But normally, as I've seen interviews this past year, you'll get to tour the school, you'll be able to meet with the faculty, have dinner or lunch with the current students, but it's a one-day event where you come and you do your best and you just be yourself. And I'll talk a little bit more about my advice in the future. It's the most cliche thing ever, but be yourself. Honestly, they want to create a class and they want you to be yourself because they want it to be a good fit for you. If you put on a persona that's not you and that's the persona that they kind of like, and you come here and you struggle, it makes it a lot more difficult to be able to be successful because yes, the school's interviewing you, but you're also interviewing the school as well. Sense that, yeah, you want to get into a school, and the most important thing is getting into a school, but that school that may be your number one choice may not be the best fit for you. So like I said, just be yourself, be open and honest, and practice. Take time to practice with yourself in the mirror, with other people, with colleagues, with teachers. Just take some time just to practice interviewing and just having those discussions with people. You want to be organic and you want to be yourself, but at the same time you want to practice those skills to be able to think, respond critically, and not say what they want you to say, but say what you honestly believe in, be able to present yourself and articulate yourself well. I initially had applied to 12 schools, some in the West, some in the East as far as DC, and then my state school, the University of Utah. So I applied at the 12, I had interviews at 5, and I got into 4 on decision day. But deciding between 2 was Howard and Louisville. I ended up choosing Louisville just because it was a little bit closer to home, and I had some friends and former classmates that were there already that spoke very highly. But both those schools I speak very, very highly of, and grateful that I had a chance to go to them. But eventually I got into Utah. I was called on April 1st, and I thought honestly, it was a joke. But I got in on April 1st, and then it was the decision between staying at Louisville or coming to Utah, or staying at Utah, I should say. So for me, I thought about what I wanted in dentistry. Service. The University of Utah has a wonderful program where we serve a very diverse population, a very underserved population here, and we're able to really help a lot of people. So that was a big thing for me is the clinical aspect. But another thing is family. My family's here. I grew up here, and just being able to be around my family has been really important to me. And that's something that I feel like is often overlooked, especially for me. That's what I did. I was thinking about just going on an adventure, experiencing a different place, but there are things that you should consider when you're choosing your school. You're going to get a good education no matter where you go. So what are those other things that are important to you? Service, family, outdoors, if that's the things that you like to do to calm down and to de-stress, are the important things to think about and have in mind when you are choosing your school. That's how I chose mine. It was kind of interesting. It was filled with some highs, it was filled with some lows, but for me, being a collegiate athlete, I never was able to just be a full-time student. And so I looked forward to the opportunity to be able to just focus on school. This was the first time I've ever in my life been able to just focus on school. And so that was really nice. But the rigor of dental school is different. Everything comes at us really, really fast. People often say it's like drinking water from a fire hose, and I'd like to agree. That being said, people often talk about imposter syndrome and feel like, oh man, am I sure that I'm here? Are they going to kick me out? And to say that I didn't experience that at the beginning, it would be a lie. I remember my first exam, I was like, man, I'm going to fail and they're going to kick me out of school. And I did okay, didn't do as great as I wanted to, but I realized like, oh, I can do this. And from then on, I've been able to do pretty well in my classes. So what helped me the most is collaborating with my classmates. One thing about Utah is we don't have a class rank, so we're really able to collaborate a lot, and we don't have to worry about where I rank in the classes. We can just focus all on becoming the best dentist that we can become. So that's what I'd say. Find a good group of people, even if you do have a class rank. So for a first-year student, you're typically in class from 8 to 5. Some days you get out earlier than 5, but most days you're there until 5. So, but this first semester specifically, you have one big class called Human Form and Function, and it's a 13-credit class. So what's nice about your first semester is that you're able to focus a lot on that one class, and that's every day, 1 to 5. It is our anatomy, histology, biology course where we learn some foundational principles that you'll need later on in dental school and for boards. So you spend a lot of time learning those things and going over those things that you've learned in undergrad on a deeper level. But in the mornings, we usually will have more of our dental directed classes where we have operative in the morning where we drill on ivory and teeth. We'll have dental anatomy where you draw and carve teeth to prepare to know what teeth are which, the different numbering systems, and be able to learn the nomenclature of dentistry. Then we also have other classes like clinical challenges. We talk about things in the clinic, and we talk about things that affect dentistry. And then we also have an evidence-based learning class where we spend some time. There are 2 things that I love about my school.